Hello, everybody. This is Bruce the Moose coming to you from my new studio location. More on that later. Today, I know it's been a while since I've made some videos, but today I'm going to make some videos. We are going to read through the comments in the body cam footage videos of the Laura Owens versus Clayton Echard paternity scandal search warrant execution. Now that case, the paternity case, was referred to the Maricopa County Attorney's Office for investigation. And as part of that investigation, the Maricopa County Attorney Office executed a search warrant January 29th, 2025 at Laura Owens' residence. They seized all sorts of computers and phones and all that jazz. Whatever they seized, we don't know, but they went and did it. And we have the body cam footage of the police officers securing the scene. Now, I am not going to go through and watch all the videos. There are so many channels doing that right now that, you guys are going to get taken care of for all that, okay? Lauren Knighty's looked at a video. She's going to look at more of them. Dave Neal's looked at videos. Law Talk with Mike. I think Just Jay Hip is going to look at the videos. So go check all that out. If you want to watch the videos by themselves, you can do that too. I would recommend checking out Schnitzel Ninja on YouTube. I have that pulled up right here. Schnitzel Ninja has constructed a supercut using advanced editing techniques to bring you an entire miniature movie of the entire situation from start to finish. So if you want to see everything from start to finish, all the angles, multi-camera setups, go check that out on the Schnitzel Ninja webpage. Now, the other option you have is to go check out, let me get that, the All the Best Research, okay? Now, All the Best Research has the individual body cam photos, videos, not just photos, but videos from every single officer, okay? And by badge number, they've got the dates and the times and which video it is. It's amazing. So if you need to see very specific details from a specific video, you can check that out there. All the raw material is there. This is all publicly available video information. You just have to make a request, pay a fee. They will send you these videos. So all these people have done this. Schnitzel Ninja, All the Best Research. Again, go play their videos to support their channels, because these are the people who've gotten these videos for us to watch and analyze. Now, what I want to do today, somebody suggested, is to go through and read some of the best comments from the video comments section. So if you haven't watched the body cam footage, go watch that now. I can wait, then come back and we're going to read through some of the comments. Now, before we do that, what's my take on these body cam videos? You know, I watched through a bunch of these and I have a lot of thoughts. It's a tough watch. I mean, it's a police action securing a location for a search warrant execution, okay? So it's a stressful situation. This happens just before 7 a.m. local time. So it's early morning hours. Nobody's ready for this. And it's disconcerting, to say the least. And, Laura does not have a good reaction. Miss Owens does not have a good reaction to this location securement operation, okay? And it's tough to watch. I'm going to be honest with you guys. If you are sensitive, it may be a tough watch and tough to listen to her responses to the police officers. I will say the police officers did an amazing job of being calm and de-escalating any potential conflict that could have happened here. They did a great job. We've gone through their written reports previously. Those were available publicly earlier. So we've already seen those. And the body cam footage corroborates the police reports in terms of what the police officers reported in those reports. So it's good that everything's consistent and coherent, and we like to see that. Now, in terms of when this operation starts, they go to the front door and they talk to Miss Owens' mother, Jan. And you can tell she sort of has a dismissive tone with these police officers. it's not a very amenable tone until she sort of finally realizes exactly what's happening and she's more inside. Then she's a little bit more cooperative. But listen closely when you watch this to her tone when she first meets these police officers. It's very telling. The other thing I noticed was, Miss Owens, she starts to sort of narrate things as things are happening, right? She's not really replying to the questions that the police officers are answering. When they ask her a yes or no question, she doesn't really answer. She sort of narrates what's happening to sort of construct her own narrative. Like, oh, you're hurting me, or oh, you have your guns drawn, and they really don't have their guns drawn. They're holstered, right? They're using flashlights and everything. And so it's interesting to compare her narration of what she thinks is happening. This is so unfair, etc., etc. They're treating me as if I murdered someone. And no, if you had murdered someone, you'd be on the ground in handcuffs. You'd be in jail. There would be no nice, calm, let's just wait in the living room while they execute the search warrant. This is very different than if these were police that were there to respond to a murder situation. So it's interesting to hear the discrepancy between what she tries to control in terms of a narrative, emotionally, controlling what they're doing to her, controlling her, calling her lawyer, controlling getting her dad out into the living room to sit down. It's a lot of control. And I think that's very interesting as well, to pay attention to that and all that. The thing I will give her lawyer, David S. Gingras, Esquire, credit for is when she does call him, you can clearly hear him say, Laura, if the police are there, you need to just let them do what they're going to do or what they need to do. So he gave her good advice in this instance, so I'm going to give him credit for that. I may not give him credit in a lot of things that he does, but I'm going to call it like it is, and he did give good advice there. The other interesting thing to note with that in this video was that her parents are constantly asking if she had called David, and she just says, well, they took my phone. But she did call him and talk to him for a moment. So the answer to the question is yes. She never answers the question with a yes or no response. She starts complaining about the officers taking her phone or her mother's phone. And she's very concerned with her mother's phone being taken. But with all that said, those were my fundamental thoughts. It's a sad situation that any of this has to happen, because this was a family court paternity case that turned into a criminal case referral. And it's just sad that any of this has to happen. Clearly, Miss Owens needs, mental health care for what I personally consider to be cluster B personality disorder behaviors. In my layman's opinion, I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a doctor. I'm just calling it like I see it, as is my right as an experienced American adult making a video on YouTube. Okay, that's all it is. Let's get into these comments. Oh my gosh. Okay, so this video is going. We're not going to watch the video, but let's get into the comments here. We've got these sorted. Let's sort these by top comments and go through them. Okay, we have the fact that she went through the seriousness of this event and still moved forward with the fraudulent restraining order on Mike Maricini is absolutely bonkers. That's right. Remember, this took place January 29th, 2025, and we've seen recent filings about trying to obtain a permanent restraining order on Mike Maricini, who lives in California. Laura lives in Arizona. Why does she need a lifetime restraining order on this guy? I don't know. She will never stop. Straight to jail. Hashtag. Okay, maybe. Let's see. Anyone notice that Laura is freaking out about her dad not being able to walk, but her mother, his wife, sits calmly and makes no such claim? Her dramatic response is guilt. I think it's more, I think with the dad or with things about, oh, these guys have guns. Oh, these guys took my phone. It's more about she's trying to maintain some sort of control of the situation. Okay. She needs to feel like she's in charge of something that's happening, as opposed to just acquiescing to the authority of the police officers and the Maricopa County investigators. Okay. I think when she was very concerned about whether they could take her mother's cell phone, that to me was interesting because I think that's also half control, but also half maybe, I don't think maybe she had prepared her phones for being taken by investigators, but maybe not her mom's. So maybe it's a little, she doesn't want them to see what's on her mom's phone, right? The unhinged screaming and crazy facial expressions are just chef's kiss. I mean, I think it's a sad situation. It makes me uncomfortable. I know to some people, it's, accountability. It's, if you have done things like she's been indicted on 7 felonies, you need to have some accountability, some response to that. I can understand that. And being happy that there's finally some accountability, I understand the emotions there. She seems awfully worried about what's in Mummy's phone. Exactly. Okay, can you imagine if she wasn't a wealthy white woman acting like this? People have been shot for less. Yeah, she didn't want to come out of the screen door. She said, well, you can't even cut the screen door open. Well, let me tell you, I'm sure they can cut the screen door open. And I don't even know if they would bother doing that. I think, they would just rip the screen door out of the frame. I think any one of these police officers could have just easily ripped the screen door off the frame. If they needed to get through the glass door, they had breaching tools and could have easily opened that. So it's just crazy. The grace that they gave her in terms of getting ready, making a phone call, slowly taking her to the living room to wait for the search warrant to be executed. Okay, love this for her. So glad we finally get to see the body camera. Right. Holy crap, Laura with the crazy eyes. The way she is talking to the officers is insane. Yeah, she tells them to F off. She flips them off. I mean, it's really not, it's not a good look. It's not the way you're going to get anything that you want or work with someone effectively in terms of, interpersonal relationships, working together, whether it's in your personal life or professional life. Screaming and swearing at people and threatening them and flipping them off. That's not how you get things done in life. That's a toddler throwing a temper tantrum is what that is. Okay, holy crap, Laura with the crazy eyes, the way she's talking to the officers is insane. The double finger flip off is such a cherry on top. Viewing this is the gift that keeps on giving. Okay. You asked for this, Laura, the consequences of your vile lies. Yeah, I mean, this is really consequences for a investigation that needed to happen to stop this vexatious litigation that's occurred to multiple people. Clayton Echard, Mike Maricini, Greg Gillespie, and Dave Neal. Do you see what you have done? Yeah, I mean, she screams that at the police officers. I mean, they're doing their job, and they're doing it in a very calm way. This is the dumpster fire of the consequences of your own actions, Laura. Exactly. Let's see. Those police are really coddling her as much as yelling and disrespect as she's spewing out. Exactly. It's a non. It doesn't make sense to be yelling and screaming and throwing a fit when they're being so gentle and patient and trying to de-escalate the situation. And how annoying that they have to repeat themselves a million times. Yeah, because really the police officer tries to tell her things like, if you have questions about the search order, you need to talk to the investigators, not the police officers. He tries to tell them, we are here under the authority to move you to the living room. Like, we just have to do that. And she doesn't really listen. She's just waiting for her turn to talk, which is not good either. I understand in a stressful situation, it can be tough to communicate, but in a stressful situation like that, you really just need to start to listen more than you talk. That's my advice. This person says she's unhinged. It's Christmas in October. I'm making her screeching "fuck you" to the police as my ringtone. Oh, geez. That's a crazy ringtone right there. As she's sitting there with her crazy facial expressions, I think her mind is racing about all the shit these cops are about to find out about her and her fraud. Exactly. There's a point at which the police are trying to get her to leave her casita, and her arm starts shaking uncontrollably, and it goes into her hand. It almost looks like jazz hands from dance. And I think she's basically having a panic attack of some sort, if you want to call it that, or histrionic episode, whatever the correct term is. It's really disturbing, and I think that's what makes it hard to watch this video, are things like that. And I really feel bad that those things had to happen in order to get where we are today. Okay, as she's sitting there with her crazy facial expressions, I think her mind is racing. Okay, we saw that. Oh, Jan, look what you created. Laura deserves every single minute of her privacy being invaded. I don't know about every single minute, but the the prosecutors they obtained a search warrant. So a judge thinks there's a reasonable reason to go obtain her devices to see if they can confirm all these criminal charges. So that's where we are. There's a lot of boxes that have to get checked before we get to this point. So they went through all the correct process, and that's where it ended up. That was the right officer for the job. He was so calm. He had the situation diffused to the best of his ability. You could have heard a pin drop at the end. Bravo, sir. Exactly. Notice how she didn't start screaming loudly and freaking out until her parents could hear her. Yeah, from the beginning, she wasn't talking that loudly until she got into eyesight or auditory range of her parents and their bedrooms or living room and all of that. It's very interesting. That's a good observation. Always the poor victim. Right. Let's see. And then, quote, if this footage becomes public record, I mean, yeah, that's how body cams work. Anyway, it lets the public hold the public employees, like police officers, accountable for their work on the job. And that's a good thing. I mean, if I was a police officer here, I would want body cams on all the time, because I wouldn't want somebody saying I did something I didn't do. Okay, I've seen meth users act exactly like this. Is there a possibility there's a drug issue? I mean, I don't know what her medication issue or status is. I think she talked about that a little bit in some of the hearings, in terms of the medication she was on, especially around the time she was claiming to be pregnant. They went into that a little bit in the Judge Galketsis hearing, but I don't know. At January 2025, who knows? I personally think this is just a personality disorder, and this sort of histrionic panic attack, temper tantrum is what she does and what she has done her whole life to get her way. That's just my opinion. And I think with these police officers, maybe this is one of the first times that somebody's actually holding her accountable and telling her no. The hands on the hip move is my favorite. Yeah, get the hands on the hip. How dare you, sir? Okay, anyway, she is awfully concerned about them taking her mom's phone. Exactly. What is on her mom's phone she didn't want them to see? Maybe we will find out. Stay tuned, guys. Dude, she is nuts. She is telling her mom it doesn't say they can take your phone so we can report them to the county. Literally trying to find her next lawsuit for her and her accomplice. Yeah, there's a lot of sort of reactive behavior in terms of trying to have a reaction that will escalate conflict with these police officers. I guarantee there will be a report. Now we can complain because the search order doesn't, I don't understand it, so I don't know if they can take my mom's phone, but they took her phone, but it doesn't say they can search her phone. And the officer is trying to explain, just because we're holding the phone here for the moment doesn't mean we're searching it. He's trying to explain all this very intellectually, and she's just not listening to him. And poor Ron, he's a decent human, you can tell. I really feel they have twisted his brain so far, and he'll maybe even have some weird medical and elder abuse issues. Yeah, maybe, who knows? Let's see. She doesn't care if her neighbors see this. That tells you how much she loves the attention, even if it's negative. No shame. Yeah, the officers asked, well, we're here really early in the morning just to get this done with. Would you have rather had it be the middle of the day when everybody's walking their dog and watching this happen? Like, yeah, you woke everybody up. It's like, well, okay, it's only 7. I mean, oh man, I think I should be getting up a little earlier here. Jan is so unbothered about Ron. Finally watching justice play out. No, Laura, do you see what you've done? All the best. She's been dreading this day, knowing the footage is finally going to be out. Maybe. This is the most insane thing I've ever seen, ma'am. Do you own a mirror? Yeah. Her whole case is pretty wild. This is not cool. It's 7 o'clock in the morning. Dude, she is seriously unhinged. I was at work at 5 a.m. today. This bee doesn't even have a real job. And the thing is, she's claimed to be pregnant so many times. If she'd ever actually had children, she would have been up way earlier than 7 o'clock many, many times if she'd ever had kids. So I don't think she would have liked that. The out-of-control screaming like a 14-year-old teenage girl, she is something else. Yeah, it's kind of like this entitled, I want to see my mom. I want to see my dad. I don't want to go with you. I need to call my lawyer. Like, it's like she can't operate by herself, right, when talking to these police officers. It's just very strange. There is sound playing in the background of this video from one of the previous wellness checks. What? Oh my gosh, what's happening here? There's an editing issue. I actually feel so sad for Ron. I can't tell if he knows what's going on at all and what Laura has done. Yeah, there was an interesting part I picked up watching the Schnitzel Ninja Supercut. And that was an officer having a conversation with Ron about Laura sort of being in a self-harm mindset in the past. And I couldn't really pick up whether he was talking about recently or in the past. But I was interested to see if that officer was going to do anything about that. But I think they were just trying to keep everybody safe in the living room. So there was nothing to do there, really. Let's see. Wow. Laura taking charge of the cops like a boss. Exactly. She wants to feel like she's in charge or in control of the situation. Did they get chocolate bars afterwards? Jan looks like she's been through this type of thing before. Maybe. Who knows? Echo says OMFG. I'm right there with you. Holy smokes, this is great. I love all the different cop cams. She's definitely going to find a boyfriend now after this crazy behavior and seeing how good of a housekeeper she is. Yeah, this isn't exactly a great LinkedIn reel or a good Hinge profile. Is there a dating app? There's like, there's Bumble and Hinge and Tinder. Is there one called like Unhinged? She could join that dating app maybe. I don't know. Let's see. God bless Maricopa County attorneys and the police officers. This was handled beautifully. I agree. Lock her up for life. I bet she's losing her shit now that this is out. She's certainly not facing life, but she is facing serious repercussions if found guilty for any or all of these 7 felony indictments. It is a non-trivial amount of prison time that you can receive from a guilty judgment on these indictments, ranging from a few years all the way up to over 30 years in aggregate with aggravating factors. So that's very daunting, very daunting. I like her shirt. Her shirt is pretty cool. I think it was a Fleetwood Mac Rumors shirt, which is funny because, oh my gosh, what rumors do we have swirling around right now? I don't know. What all did they take at this time? Also, she's bonkers, crazy eyes. I think when we looked at the documents, they were looking for things like phones, tablets, laptops. There may be other things they were looking for outside of electronics. We will have to see if the case goes to trial. Those poor officers, yeah. Ron Owens will have a legitimate lawsuit for them not blurring him out. He's practically naked and clearly an invalid. Also, he is not the accused. Yeah, and I think All the Best Research as well as Schnitzel Ninja both tried to do more blurring for those scenes compared to what they received from the actual law enforcement agency that sent them these videos. So I think the folks putting these videos up for the public are trying to be even more conservative about what they're showing. So let's give them a chance to do that. Ron Owens doesn't seem that bad for having Parkinson's for 23 years. What's up with that? I mean, Parkinson's is a gradual thing. I think it can affect people in different ways. I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to try and diagnose him. I know it definitely looked like he had some, it took him a while to get from his bedroom to the living room, and the officers had to help him. So I give them kudos for trying to help him get around. Let's see. Let's go to the next one. I'm going to do 4 of these, and then if I want to do more, I'm going to do another video of reading comments, because there's so many of these cameras, and people are leaving so many good comments. The level of entitlement she displays is ridiculous and disgusting, but it's 7 a.m. and I'm not comfortable. Oh, sweetie, your victims have been uncomfortable for years. Enjoy. Yeah, that's true. Supporting the channel. Thanks for posting. She is such a liar, saying guns were drawn. She breathes, she lies. Look at her faking the handshakes. Oh, okay, so this person thinks she's faking the handshakes. That's interesting. I actually think they weren't fake. Yeah, that was weird. She's like, you've got your guns pointed at me. And they're like, no, we don't have our guns unholstered. And she says, well, I can't tell from the screen. Well, if you can't tell, then why did you make a declarative statement in the beginning? It's that's sort of this bullshitting of, you say something you think might be right that's in your favor, but you're not 100% sure. And then if it goes well, it goes well. If you can sort of snow people with it, it's kind of crazy. Like, if you can't tell through the screen door, you shouldn't have made a declarative. But anyway, wow, Gingras gave her good advice. He did. The fake crying and hysteria, 35-year-old child, no regular employment, and still living off her parents. Story then changes to, I can see their guns, all on video. Beautiful, exactly. I mean, I don't know if is she used to living in England or something? I mean, American police officers will have weapons, especially if they're responding to a search warrant or an issue, a tactical issue, right? As opposed to they're just patrolling around the town or something like that. They're going to have holstered weapons. That's very normal. Okay, the fact that Jan Dearest is not telling her to calm down, sit down, and shut the fuck up is telling. Yeah, I mean, there's a scene where Laura is screaming at her mom. And I get the sense that maybe that's just, she screams at her parents and that's how she gets her way. A lesson in why you need to tell your toddlers no. Never reward a tantrum or a lie. Exactly. What a mess she lives in. She keeps on about 7 a.m. She was awake. Yeah, the TV was on, right? It is so satisfying to see her going through this. Oh, geez. She deserves this. I can't wait until she goes to prison. Okay, thanks for taking the time to post all the public records. This case is insane. For sure. Let's see. Thank you. The first time we've seen consequences in the flesh definitely hits differently than the motions, etc. This must feel good for all her victims to finally see her facing justice and someone holding her accountable. Exactly. Because it's in the moment, right? It's being held accountable in the moment. Whereas in court, you can get Judge Mada's judgment weeks later, but it's not in the moment. And that's what we're seeing here in these videos. This proves the vocal fry is an act now. This is her real tone of voice when she is not prepared to put it on. That's a good point. If you listen to her voice throughout these videos versus her voice at the June 10th court hearing, it's a real difference in demeanor. It's a very interesting observation. I literally just popped some popcorn to watch these. Oh my gosh. Do what you got to do. Her dad can't stand up, then he walks into the room in another video. I mean, it takes time, when you're old. Let me tell you, after moving things around, packing up my house, there's days where it's like, takes you a minute to stand up. If your leg's asleep, you got to let your leg realize it exists, all that jazz. It could take a minute here. Let's see. You're hurting me, question, exclamation points. So manipulative. And did you see how quick she saw an opportunity to use her dad to complain and victimize herself? Yeah, exactly. She very quickly went to the officer guiding her to the room, to completely forgetting about that and talking about her dad, to completely forgetting about that and talking about her mom's phone. It's just, it's like a ping pong match or something. Okay, what else do we have? The Owens are bankrupt because they're hoarders. Holy moly. I mean, I don't know. Their second, they looked like they had a 2-car garage, and the second garage spot was sort of like Amazon Mountain or something, like boxes. I don't know what you want to call it. It was a lot, but I mean, I don't know if it rose to the level that you would see on the actual TV show Hoarders. Shout out to Matt Paxton. But it definitely looked like they could use some cleaning and organization for sure. Maybe TLC can give them a special episode, hoarding pregnancy scams and garbage, digging out to find the mystery bump, the lies, and where all the money went. I mean, I think I saw on the Instagram, the GFC Instagram, they did an analysis of how much it would cost to do all these horse hobbies, right? Have these horses, move the horses around, stable the horses, go to all these horse shows and all the equipment and everything. And I could see half or more of their bankruptcy debt in terms of the losses over time, since they had that, since Ron was being paid and he had that San Francisco house. I could see half or more of their debt being related to this whole horse hobby activity. Maybe the rest was mismanaged or gambled, or who knows. It's hard to know if we'll ever find out. Wow, that was hard to watch. She is truly crazy and unwell. LOL, she said the police can come during business hours. Yeah, that was so funny. Like, I was told you can't do a search warrant unless it's business hours. I mean, I don't know where she got that idea. That's wild. I mean, we'll do a search. The guy actually said something like 6:30 or 5:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. or something. So it's not even 24 hours. I would think you should let the police do execute search warrants 24/7, but maybe that would be violating the local noise ordinances or something. So maybe they don't. I don't know. OMG, she is crazy. Let's see, cop. We are going to cut your screen. Laura, the screen isn't even cuttable. She has a comeback for everything. I know. I mean, I will tell you right now, I could cut that screen, or at least remove the screen door very easily. Let me tell you, I've been doing some handyman activities lately, and I could cut that screen. 2 things. What's with the hand shaking uncontrollably, and why is that room such a disaster? She should clean up her act and then clean up her room. Yeah. Yeah, it's a tough watch, guys. This is what the consequences of your own illegal actions are made of. Okay, to the tune of Hillary Duff's, this is what dreams are made of. Oh boy. Well, you can tell Jan never understood the whole don't feed tantrums with attention parenting concept. Good point. This is beautiful. Oh, jeez. Thanks, Flux. Okay. Gingras is on the phone. What is he going to do? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Do you think he got off the phone and drove over there while they were doing the search? I'd like to know. Laura Owens has destroyed so many lives. Okay, timestamp. Look at how much her hands are shaking against the door. Yeah, it's real disturbing. And that room, what a mess. The entitlement, insane. Yeah, there's a lot of entitlement displayed here. How old is this woman again? She's 35. I've seen more mature behavior from teenagers. I would agree. Stating she's never even seen a gun in her life, as if it's a requirement before police are allowed to approach you. I mean, yeah, like, it's not their job to placate your sheltered lifestyle. I don't know. Exactly. Gosh. Police coming during business hours. Yeah. I'm sorry, but this is glorious to watch, especially the jazz hands. Karma on full display. I suppose. I can understand why people have the emotions of some satisfaction after, seeing her bring these restraining orders against Greg Mike Clayton, bringing a harassment case against Dave Neal. continuing this narrative that she had sufficient evidence to prove she was pregnant when she doesn't have sufficient clinical evidence. I can understand it. LOL, they should have made an appointment. She's such an entitled bee. Oh boy. What happened to video number 1? Now it's marked private. I think they were working on that, the different redactions and blurring and all that jazz. So stay tuned. Yeah, I think that's what they're going to say here. If I can pull these open. Sorry about that. We had an audio issue with the first video. Okay, audio issues as well. We've got that. You would think with all her free time, she could at least clean her free casita. Sad part is, I bet the cleaners won't touch her part of the house. Oh my gosh. I mean, cleaners will, unless there's a, some sort of biohazard issue. Like if you see, for example, I've watched some Hoarders episodes in the past. If you see rat droppings or something like that, that can potentially be a biohazard situation, in which case you have to get cleaning professionals like the guys they bring in. Who are these guys? Corey Chalmers, Matt Paxton. They bring these guys in to do the serious biohazard cleaning and all that jazz. Okay. The hand convulsions. Yeah, it's disturbing. I'd love to be able to sleep until 7. My dogs won't allow me, LOL. The lying liar deserves this and more. This seems to be the first time ever she's experienced consequences for her actions. I agree. Come back during business hours. They're cops. It's always business hours, you ding dong. Yeah, I mean, especially if they're, patrolling and they're responding to something that's happening in the moment. 24/7, guys. Laura Owens for life in prison. Drama queen. There's Robin, your psychic girlfriend. I think Robin, the psychic, has a video on this situation going up soon, if it's not already up. Check it out. The entitlement on display here is staggering. What's worse is the way her parents continue to enable it, turning a blind eye, excusing every misstep, and allowing her harmful behavior to persist unchecked. No consequences ever. A pattern of abuse that not only goes unchallenged, but is effectively endorsed by their silence. It's fair. The victims deserve accountability, not complicity. Well said. Okay, Laura, I will have bruises from this, I guarantee you. I mean, next day Laura buys a new phone, Googles how to do fake bruise with makeup. I mean, you could give yourself bruises. I mean, I've been moving some furniture and things around recently, and I'm pretty sure I've got a bruise or two. I've got one right now on my arm. It's not complicated. I wasn't even trying. Okay. Gingras can talk her down like no other, LOL. I mean, if he can do one thing, maybe that's it. I mean, I'll give him credit for that. I think she made her hand shake. Everything this chick does is suspect. Someone tell Megan Fox's whining is a good sound bite. Oh, geez. Let's get the soundboards going, guys. That cop's hand almost wrapped around the entire circumference of her upper arm. She might want to eat a burger. Yeah. As a thin human being, I understand what it's like to be thin. And she's definitely got a very thin appearance here in this video. And I think one of the court declarations filings in the criminal case actually refers to her potentially having ED type of thing. So it's a tough case. I don't think, if there's actual disorder happening there, I don't think a burger is going to cut it. But that's where we are. I think I'm just going to do 2 of these at a time, guys, and just see how many of these I want to do. A lot of these comments are covering similar ground, so we'll see how far I go or how many of these I want to do. If you want me to do another one, comments, review the comments on these videos from the All the Best Research page. Let me know. I'll read through them, because sometimes it's just something to have on in the background we can listen to while we're doing the laundry or doing the dishes or something, doing some yard work. And it can be interesting to hear other people's takes, see some different perspectives, and just, not only rely on our own conclusions and observations, but try to find some other ones to look at. Okay, and again, all of these individual videos, let me just go back here. These are on the All the Best Research YouTube page. Thanks to them. And Schnitzel Ninja also has a 24-minute supercut, super edit with advanced editing skills. So go check that one out as well. I'm going to try and make a video about what's going on and why I'm in this crazy looking room right now. And I'll get that out as soon as possible as well. But in the meantime, I am Bruce the Moose. This has been the Bruce the Moose Show. I guess we're down to episode 0. It might be the first. It might be the last. Who knows? Leave a comment and we will attempt to find out. Thanks, guys. I will talk to you all later. Have a good one.